Now, I don't know why I'd written this one down. I thought it was a bit puzzling when I looked back at it, looked back at my topic notes, but culture, just culture, that's all it said. And I thought, that's weird. Why have I written that one down? That's so broad. It covers tons of stuff. And then I thought about it for a sec, and I thought, actually, there is something about the word culture that applies to me. And I had an argument with one of my ex-girlfriends, which she got very angry at me because I was using the word culture in a way that she didn't like, which was a legit way. I think it's an accurate way. Insert little freedictionary.com meaning of culture thing on the screen. I was using it to mean individual culture. I was saying that I was making the case that culture can emanate from the individual. Like, each individual has their own culture. And she was like, no, you're not using it right. You're not using it right. I'm very protective over the meaning of words. You can't use culture in that way. And she was like saying culture can only be like national, as in can only come from different countries and things, I believe. I don't know if she was making the case for the culture coming from collectivist groups, probably, I imagine. But I think she mainly wanted it to be used for national cultures, like other countries. And I was like, no. Culture, like tradition as well. I mean, both meanings are legit. Like, I'm not saying that, culture doesn't emanate from nationalities as well, but it can come from the individual. And the same can be said of tradition. I think you can say tradition comes from different countries and different cultures, but it can also come from groups, not that I approve, and it can also come from individuals and so the culture of an individual can come from just their history, their self-experience of the world, and how that differs from other people, like how they perceive the world or how their experiences have shaped them, projects a uniqueness out of each person that is not easily compared with other people because each person experiences life in different ways from each other. There are shared things here and there where we'll all go into tropes and cliches. We'll all have experiences that are very similar to each other, like driving a car or going to work or getting a house or starting a family, or some people won't even have half those things on that list because of our present fucking situation, but that's another topic. We have these things we share in common, which are experiences that are very similar to each other, but they're not exactly the same. And so the way, and we each have our own art style. I don't think it even matters if you're an artist or not. You have your own art style. The way you arrange things in your room, like the way you simply choose to put items on your table. Like, why did you put that bottle on the left instead of the right? Why did you put that painting up on your wall instead of a different painting? Like, all these different things, like how you're arranging the things in your kitchen, where they should belong, if it's not 100% to do with functionality, or maybe the functionality feeds into the culture too, but like, where are your things in your kitchen that are different from the things in someone else's kitchen? So there's the convergent evolution thing going on, where we share experiences with each other, and I suppose that can lead into more of a national culture sort of thing. And then there's the individual culture that I believe does exist, where each person's experiences are unique enough from each other that they each have their own culture. And the national tradition side of that, so we talk about tradition instead of culture for a moment. Tradition can emanate from your tribe and its customs and its religion and its history as a group. But you can also have an individual tradition where you have established certain routines and things that no one else has, really. And you do them in your house, and people go in your house and you're like, why are you doing that? It's just like what I do. It's how I do things. Ever since I've gone through this experience, I do this thing every Sunday, or I always go through my house in a certain way and make sure I do certain things in certain orders each day. Like, I have a list of routines I go through, and these routines are traditions for the individual. My dad, I always like that my dad had this thing. He stopped doing it, but when we were more of a family, a lot younger. I don't know what age we were actually. I guess when I was a teenager, or when I was a, like, what do you call it, a sub-teenager, like 12 and 13, late kid years, early teen years. Dad would do this thing called candle-lit fruit, where he'd say, like, hey, everyone, all my sons, come down. It's evening. It's not dinner time. It's that different part of the night. We're doing candle-lit fruit. I guess it's some way of trying to get us healthy with some weird quirk thing, but we'd have this weird tradition that came from him where he'd put a candle in the middle of the table and he'd prepare everyone little bowls of fruit, and we'd all just like gather around the candle at the table, eat our bowl of fruit, and then that was that, you know. Sit in the dark with a candle, eat fruit, the fruit's gone. That was candlelit fruit, you know. I don't know. It's quite a sweet thing that Dad used to do when we're all together. That is sadly it ended. Just like day trips ended. My family used to go on a lot of day trips when we were a family and when we were young, when I was a teen and when I was a kid. And like we go to like zoos. We went to a monkey sanctuary once, I remember. We went to little parks and pubs. Like we went to pub with a park, and we'd go in the park, and Dad and Mum would go in the pub, and you know we'd travel and go to the beach, and we'd always be in the car going to somewhere, and that came to an end abruptly. I don't know why. My parents just decided to stop doing it, and so that's kind of my motivation of reviving it again later on, when I tried to get my dad out for more walks after his leg injuries and stuff, so we could all, you know, have that family experience thing again, I guess. But yeah, the candlelit fruit, that's an individual tradition, I guess, of my dad, or a semi-small group tradition, because, you know, it featured me and my brothers in there as well, which is a bitter talking point now. But, you know, there was a time when everything was good. Yeah, so culture, yeah. So I wasn't saying my GF's version of culture was illegitimate, it's just that she was saying that you can't have individual culture, and I don't believe that. Other things to do with culture, I guess it just feeds into the whole subject, which will be on other topic vlogs, of like nationalism and identity and collectivism versus individualism, so it's part of that, obviously. Also, the culture war will crop up, which is one of the many names for the fight against communism that I've been a part of ever since, I don't know, well, certainly ever since 2014. Anyway, folks, that was today's topic. A little bit of culture. Thank you for watching.